Cantor, you're muted.
Thank you, Rabbi. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom. Can you make me a co-host before we start?
There we go. I think we're both helping to run the show this evening. Are we streaming okay?
We are.
Excellent. So nice to see everybody. Even though we can't really see you, we know you're there.
Let's start with a few songs to get ourselves together.
Hine. Matov.
Matov.
Uma. Naim. Sheverachim gam yachan. Hine. Matov.
Uma. Naim.
Sheverachim gam yachan. Hine matov. Naim. Sheverachim gam yachan. Hine matov. Manayim. Sheverachim gam yachad. Hine matov. Uma. Naim. Sheverachim gam yachad. Hine matov. Naim. Sheverachim gam yachad. Hine matov. Manayim. Sheverachim gam yachad. Hine matov. Manayim. Sheverachim gam yachad. How good and how beautiful it is for all of us to be together this evening. Little bim, bam, bim, 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 bam, bim, 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 bam, yabby, babby, babby, bim, bam, bim, 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 bam, bim, 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 bam. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam, yabby babby babby bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. I got that Shabbat feeling up in my rosh, up in my rosh. Up in my roach, I got that Shabbat feeling. Up in my roach to stay. I got that Shabbat feeling. Down in my recline, down in my recline, down in my recline. I got that Shabbat feeling. Down in my recline, down in my recline to stay. I got that Shabbat feeling. Deep in my lev, my heart, deep in my lev, deep in my lev, I got that Shabbat feeling. Deep in my lev to stay. I got that Shabbat feeling. Bechol Gufi, got it. Bechol Gufi, I got that Shabbat feeling. Bechol Gufi to stay. I got that Shabbat feeling all over me. I got it all over me. All over me. I got that Shabbat feeling all over me. All over me to stay. Whoa, 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 whoa.
feeling that Shabbat feeling now as it has been seeping in with all of our music. We're going to kindle our Shabbat lights. So I'm going to do that. They are right behind Cantor Paul. And we'll watch as he lights those candles. All right, we're going to make 3 circles, 1 circle for ourselves and 1 circle for our family, 1 circle for all the people in the world as we join in our blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
We continue to welcome Shabbat. Join in singing Lecha Dodi as we welcome the Shabbat presence into our home and into our hearts.
Excuse me, Rabbi, I just have to make one adjustment here. Okay. Sorry, I had lost your audio. Little Lechan with a little Dodi?
Yes, Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, Penei Shabbat, nekabla. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, Penei Shabbat, nekabla. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, umevorach. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, umevorach. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, Penei Shabbat, nekabla. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, Penei Shabbat, nekabla.
We continue with Baruch Hu, our call to prayer. You can find, if you're able to stand, you can do that, or you can sit a little straighter in your chair as we continue with Baruch Hu.
Lai la 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 lai. Lai la 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 lai. Lai la 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 lai la 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 lai la 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 lai. Lai la 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 lai la 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 lai. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamevorach. Baruch Adonai Hamevorach, leolam va'ed. Hamevorach, leolam
continue connecting ourselves to the Holy One and all that exists, the oneness of the world. Shema Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
We join in singing our song of freedom, Mi Chamocha.
Mi chamocha, bailim Adonai, mi kamocha, nedar b'kodesh, norati lo, osei feleh. Mi chamocha, bailim Adonai, mi kamocha, nedar b'kodesh, norati lo, osei feleh. Malchutcha, Rauvanecha, Bokeyam Lifnei Moshe uMiriam. Ze Eli, Anu. Ve'ameru Adonai, Yimloch leolam va'ed. Mi chamocha, bailim Adonai, mi kamocha, nedar b'kodesh, norati lot, osei feleh. Norati lot, osei feleh. Norati lot, osei feleh.
We're going to connect ourselves to all of those who have come before us, to our parents and grandparents and great-grandparents, all the way back to Abraham and Sarah. First, we'll sing a line to ask God to open our mouths and our hearts to sing words of goodness, and then our Avot Ve'imahot prayer, connecting us to all who have come before.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips so that I may pray to you with all my heart. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah. Baruch atah Adonai, Magin Avraham, ve'Ezrat Sarah.
Amen. We continue with our Torah song. It is a tree of life. To all who hold fast to it, all who embrace it are happy.
עץ חיים היא למחזיקים בה לתומכיה מאושר. עץ חיים היא למחזיקים בה לתומכיה מאושר. שלום 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 שלום. It is a tree of life to those who hold fast to it. All of its supporters are happy. It is a tree of life to those who hold fast to it. All who embrace it are happy. Shalom, 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 shalom.
All right. Well, yes, Shabbat Shalom to all of you. Once there was a kingdom everyone called paradise. It was paradise, not because it was any more beautiful or any richer than any other place, but because of the way the people who lived there cared for one another. In this kingdom, if a friend needed something from a friend, someone always stepped forward to help without even being asked. If a neighbor needed something from a neighbor, someone would respond cheerfully and graciously without ever asking for anything in return. If a stranger needed something, people came forward to help with hospitality and generosity and kindness. All of this was because of the wise king. The king knew that his subjects would treat one another the way he treated them. So he was always careful and attentive and helpful. If he couldn't help someone, he would at least listen and express his concern. At last, the king grew old, and he appointed his son, the prince, to rule in his place when the time came. Soon the king died, and the prince assumed the throne. But the prince was not wise like his father, nor kind, and he did not treat people the way his father did. The royal ministers approached the prince and declared, "Your Majesty, we have a terrible problem. There is a famine in a certain corner of the land, and the people there are starving. We must do something." "They are starving?" said the prince impatiently. "Yes, starving. They have no food to feed their children." "But I have plenty of food," responded the prince, biting into a big apple from the bowl of fruit before him. "If they are starving, I'm sorry, but it's not my problem." "Perhaps your Majesty didn't understand. People are suffering and they haven't had any food. They'll die if we do nothing." "Well, I'm sorry, but it's just not my problem." The ministers shook their head in disbelief and slowly walked away. Just then, another group of royal messengers approached the throne. "Your Majesty, we have a terrible situation. The river has become poisoned, and the people who live along its banks have no water to drink. We must help them." "No water?" asked the prince, even more impatiently, as he poured himself a large glass of water. "Yes, Your Majesty, there is no water. People are dying of thirst." "But I have plenty of water," responded the prince, holding up his glass. "I'm sorry, but it's not my problem." No one in the royal court seemed to be able to move the prince. Every problem that was presented to him met with the same bothered look and the same response. "I'm sorry, but that's not my problem." Before long, everyone in the kingdom was acting like the prince. When a friend needed help from a friend or a neighbor needed a hand from a neighbor, the one who was beseeched would look bothered and respond, "You need help? Well, I'm sorry, but that's not my problem." And since they refused to help one another, they certainly refused to help strangers. Soon the kingdom had changed completely. It was no longer paradise. It was a wilderness, a wasteland. Soon no one remembered the way things had been. No one remembered the paradise that the kingdom once was. No one but the fishermen. The fishermen remembered the old king and the way things used to be. It hurt him that everyone had become as selfish as the young prince. If only he could remind the people and teach them. But what was one old fisherman to do? Then one day he thought of a solution. He gathered all his money and bought tools and paint and materials. He set to work fixing up his old fishing boat. He would turn it into a yacht, the most beautiful yacht in the harbor. Fishermen worked hard. Each day people came by and admired his boat. "Hey, fisherman," they'd say, "when you're done, will you take us for a ride on your yacht?" "Sure," he said, "everyone will be invited." It took him more than a year to finish his work. When the yacht was ready, the fisherman made a huge sign and posted it for all to see. He invited everyone to come for a ride on the lake to celebrate the yacht's first voyage. And so everybody did come that Sunday morning, even the prince. It was splendid. It was a clear day. The sun shone warmly. The lake was calm. The fisherman guided his yacht out to the lake. When he reached the middle, far from the shore, he dropped anchor and invited everyone to enjoy themselves. And they ate from their picnic baskets, and they fished, and they had a wonderful day on the lake. And when it was about time to go home, the fisherman opened his toolbox and brought out a large hand drill. He walked to the exact center of the boat, positioned the drill on the hull, and began to drill. "Say, fisherman," people asked, "what are you doing?" I'm drilling a hole." But why are you drilling a hole?" "Why, well, because it's a nice day for drilling holes," he responded. "But fisherman, if you drill a hole in the boat, water will rush in, the boat will sink, and we'll all drown," they said. As he continued drilling, the passengers began to cry and beg, "Fisherman, please stop, you must stop." "Nope, it's my boat, it's my drill. I'm going to drill this hole." Someone remembered that the prince was on board. "Get the prince," they shouted. "Someone get the prince. He'll save us." The prince came over. No lowly fisherman was going to ruin his afternoon. "Fisherman, what are you doing?" he asked in his deepest, most commanding voice. "I'm drilling a hole," responded the fisherman. "Why are you doing this?" asked the prince in his deep, princely tone. "Because I feel like it," responded fisherman without even looking up at the prince. "Fisherman, if you make a hole in the boat will sink and we'll all drown," the prince reasoned. "Uh-huh," acknowledged the fisherman. Fisherman ignored him and kept drilling. The prince was quickly losing his composure. Gone were this royal tone and all the royal trappings. Instead, it was just another frightened man. "But fisherman, what gives you the right to do this?" Fisherman explained slowly. "It's my boat, it's my drill, and I'm going to make a hole. Now, please move aside. You're blocking my light." Finally, the prince began to cry. Fisherman at last stopped drilling. Yet again, a hush came over the crowd. Fisherman looked up at the prince. "You don't want the boat to sink? You don't want to drown?" Fisherman echoed the prince's plea. The fisherman slowly repeated the terrible words that had ruined the kingdom. "Well, I'm sorry, but it's not my problem." The prince cried desperately. "What do you mean it's not your problem? Anyone can see that if I have a problem, then you have a problem. And if you have a problem, then I have a problem. I have a problem. If anyone has a problem, then everyone has a problem. Because we're all on the same boat." He stopped. Like a man who had just figured out a great riddle, he repeated the words slowly. "If I have a problem, you have a problem. And if you have a problem, I have a problem. If anyone has a problem, then everyone has a problem. Because we're all in the same boat. Anyone can see that." "Yes," said fisherman, "anyone can see that." "Yes," said everyone on the boat, "anyone can see that." Fisherman smiled. "Now we can go home." He pulled up the drill out of the hole, turned the boat around, and sailed safely back to the harbor. The people who got off the boat were changed. Never, ever again would friend turn to friend or neighbor turn to neighbor or anyone turn to a stranger and say those terrible words. Instead, whenever a friend needed help from a friend or a neighbor needed a hand from a neighbor or a stranger needed some kindness, and whenever anyone came before the prince, they would hear, "Please, let me help you. Because if you have a problem, I have a problem. And if I have a problem, you have a problem. If anyone has a problem, then everyone has a problem. You see, we're all in the same boat." And once again, the kingdom was paradise.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom to you and all my friends. Shabbat candles are burning bright. Shabbat candles burning bright. Shabbat candles are burning bright. Let us know it's Friday night. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom to you and all my friends. Shabbat challah, good to eat. Shabbat challah, so good to eat. Shabbat challah, good to eat. It's a special Shabbat treat. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom to you and all my friends. Well, Shabbat day is my favorite day. Shabbat day, my favorite day. Shabbat day, it's my favorite day. It's the day I get to say Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom to you and all my friends.
Thank you so much for being with us, friends. Before we do our final family blessing, a few announcements. The most important one, probably for this group, is that next week we're going to have a special Beit Sefer Shabbat, and so our family Shabbat next week is going to begin at 6:15 instead of 6:30. And we will have also an opportunity. We will still broadcast to Facebook, but we will have an opportunity for whoever wants to join us on Zoom. And we'll light candles together at 6:15 and have some opportunities to see one another. So look at your congregational email that comes next Thursday for that Zoom link. And we hope to see you at 6:15 next Friday evening for our special family service highlighting our Beit Sefer and our Beit Sefer family. So, but everybody's welcome to join us. We're thrilled to have you. And just check your TBI update. I don't have any particular announcements. There's lots of things continue to go on, adult learning and various kinds of activities. But Cantor, anything that you particularly wanted to announce?
Well, I think the following week our Shabbat's going to be a little different because it'll be our Hanukkah Shabbat, and we'll also be joining on Zoom together to light candles. So that's really, really, really special. And the 2 weeks from this coming Saturday, the 12th of December, which is the third night of Hanukkah, we will be celebrating by lighting our giant menorah. It's our big menorah. It's not so giant. It's big enough so that you should be able to see it in our parking lot. And those of you who are able are welcome to join us for Havdalah and Hanukkah candle lighting at 5 p.m. 5 p.m. on Saturday evening, the 12th. And we'll be staying in our cars, but we'll be broadcasting it on the FM radio so you can hear everything that's going on. And we'll light we'll light our candles and do Havdalah and at least have an opportunity to be in the same space together, even though we won't be able to really interact that much physically.
And one last announcement is please join us tomorrow night at 6:45 on our Zoom Siyum channel. Again, it's in your congregational email for Havdalah at 6:45 Havdalah and Shema and Hashkivenu, our evening Siyum. And we're going to now have you gather with your family, whoever you're there with, your siblings or your grandparents or your parents, and for our family blessing.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you with good and keep you safe.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May God be with you and be kind to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha, v'yasem lecha shalom.
May you always know that God is close, and may God give you the gift of peace.
Amen.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. Hope to see you soon.
Shabbat shalom. See you tomorrow night.